So throughout the first like 40, 50 minutes of today, we're going to be going over the 10 tips to come out of quarantine better, right? And the subtitle of that, which I quipped about within, however that you learned about this, was surviving quarantine without gaining 50 pounds and or going insane, right? So
I like that part.
with that, I'm at the Well studio right now. We have always been so like safety minded in terms of the exercise portion, making sure that everybody's doing exercises correctly and the specific movements and what's good for their bodies and stuff like that. And within that, like, umbrella of safety has always been like keeping everything clean. So we're still able to see people. I mean, I don't know if you can see how small this place is. We can still see people one-on-one with the social distancing guidelines and all the sanitation guidelines. So we're following those stringently. But aside from that, we've been doing virtual one-to-one and virtual small group training to keep people moving and active, if they are just, staying at home. So it's been a really cool way to connect. I know we had a number of people who said that they were going to pop in from like Boston and Florida. So I think it's really cool to see how the technology right now is bridging the gap of time and space, which I think is a positive that we didn't foresee coming. But I'm always like looking for, okay, where's the silver lining? So that's one of them. And so yeah, first 40 minutes, just to give an outline of today, we're going to be going through 10 tips. We each have 2. First will be Sheila. And I'll introduce, her background and what I know about her. In between, we're going to be doing a quick yoga session. So get you up, get you moving. That way you're not just sitting here spectating, getting you involved and moving your body in a way that is good and gets the body, the blood flowing and, kind of gets you pumped up for the next part, where we're going to break out into rooms. If we have a large enough amount of people that makes sense to. If not, then we'll just have open discussion. So we'll do open Q&A and just have a talk. From there, we'll come back and close it out. But if we don't have, for everybody who has logged on already, if we don't have your email information, if you would put that in the chat box, because later this afternoon, I'm going to be putting together just a resource handout of everybody's contact information, how you can get in touch, learn more. If there's something that strikes your fancy and you want to learn more about it, connect with the person, then you'll have that information available to you. I'm going to send that out in an email. So with Sheila,
So eager, I can't contain myself.
So if you're preparing for a significant life change, or feel like you're coming to a place where you're like, okay, I need to change some things. Maybe I don't know exactly what that is. Or maybe I'm not even thinking about fitness, or I'm not thinking about my mental, or my work, or with everything that's going on right now, a lot of things are in upheaval. So if you're thinking about preparing for significant life change and would like Sheila's full-scale support, she's got a wise woman approach that may be a great fit for you. So she is an intuitive healer, and her ideal person to talk to is if you're open to exploring like spiritual expansion, like, hey, maybe there's something deeper that's going on. She will be your girl to connect with. So without further ado.
Ta-da-ta-da. Thank you for that introduction. That was very well said, I must say.
Okay. You go, Sheila.
Yeah.
Yay. We got some sound therapy going on here. I love the color, Sheila, the purple.
Okay, so that is the chakras. So when you get into high clairvoyant healing, and you're able to see a chakra, that's what the chakra actually looks like. Beaming from, it's going from left to right really quickly, or like this, and that's what your chakra looks like. When you're in the great invocation meditation, if you do that every day, your your chakra is going to end up with that beautiful coloration, and it will shift from side to side, or it will spin.
Nice.
It's really pretty, actually.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I've only been able to see that clairvoyantly high maybe 5 times in my life, and it's a very refined energy. Our chakras are very refined, high energy, so it's really pretty to able to see at least once that way.
It almost reminds me of a mandala. I was doing some
Yes,
mandalas.
it does.
When you there's some breath work meditations. There's a girl that I follow that I actually went to her, Rachel. She's going to be doing a session tomorrow. But she can get you to the point where your whole body energy will look like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Great.
I've done that a couple times with her too. Pretty amazing.
So tell me about this great invocation.
So this great invocation was done by a holy master. I actually took up pranic healing. They're from like Malaysia, Thailand, but they learned it from Master Choa. He's the one that created this form of modality of healing. So a woman actually channeled. She was a clairvoyant healer. She actually channeled this invocation, and what it is about the two hearts: your divine heart, which is your crown, and then your sacred heart, which is your heart chakra. And what you do is you're going to activate them both so that you can have a increase of aura to increase your spiritual connection of clarity. It's very peaceful. You can heal. You can heal through this. We have taught a lot of cancer patients through this invocation. This invocation by itself, just by the invocation by itself, can help your mental well-being, like everyday stress. People say they become clearer and clearer when they have done this for 2 weeks. So this is a very powerful, no joke. If you do it every day for 21 days, that's what we recommend, 21 days, you will see your life change in 21 days. Wow. Just by the invocation, not even the meditation, just the invocation by itself. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just kind of get grounded. You wanna do it now or no? I'm just jumping right into it.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
Oh, cool. And so if anybody don't know who I am, my name is Sheila Boyd. I am an empowerment life coach. I do a lot of spiritual clairvoyant healings. I like working with more like the advanced workers or the advanced healers, like shamanic healing, people who are light workers, but they're pretty advanced in their healing. And I like helping them so that they can help others heal. So I like working with what I call the enlightened souls. Souls that are kind of learning their way through spirituality, and then they come see me for some answers. That's kind of like an oracle. So we're gonna go ahead and do this this invocation. You guys can just close your eyes. You can have your palms up like this if you like, because that's when you're gonna receive energy. But we're just gonna do this. Put your tongue on the root of your mouth, and just take deep, gentle breaths. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, from the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the mind of every person and every being. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the heart of every person and every being. Let love descend on earth. May the world teachers return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let our purpose guide the will of every person and every being, the purpose which the holy masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend on earth. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out. And may it be sealed the door which evil dwells. Let love, light, power manifest the divine plan on earth. Amen. And you just open your eyes. And after that, you do a quick centeredness of forgiveness where you see something you love very much. Like for me, I'm going to use my dog, Elsa. And I'll see Elsa and I feel that loving connection of Elsa, right? My dog. And then I hold my hand up and I use the loving feeling that I have. And in forgiveness, anyone whoever hurt me or who I ever hurt in my life, I will send them love through my hands open like this. And then I will increase that light. And all you guys see is white light coming from your hands, beaming towards the earth or to the individuals or group or mass of people at that one time. And if you do this 21 days, you will actually see change in the people that you have difficult with communication with, or you're having some issues like financial issues. All of it will kind of be smoothed out if you do this for like 21 days. And I've seen some great miracles. I have done it with my mom who had stage 4 cancer, very deadly cancer. She was not supposed to survive, and completely healed. With some help with some other healers, Lisa, and some other healers that have also helped me in this journey. So I really tell people don't underestimate the great implication. And I do have a meditation that I will share in the Well group, but it's a long meditation, so I won't be able to do it today. But it's a very deep meditation, and it does help clear all of your body's centers and chakras as well. It's very, very powerful. And a lot of people actually have very, I call it divine experiences by doing it as well. See what else? Of course, we're going to jump right into the 10 tips, right? So my 2 tips is going to be regards meditation and prayer. I'm kind of glad I got those 2 together because it's going to actually help. Again, I always tell people, doing something for 21 days, especially when we're in quarantine. This will be a great thing to kind of do with, a lot of people think meditation is something you got to do for 3 hours, 20 minutes. And you can do a meditation in 3 minutes. And just as quick as that invocation, just holding your hands and repeating that invocation is less than 2 minutes. Just to kind of connect and give you some clarity first thing in the morning. So just to give you some benefits of why meditation is great for you, it helps you ease your physical tension in your body. A lot of people, like Lisa would know, that sometimes you wake up in the morning and the first thing everyone say is either say an affirmation or some kind of gratitude, right? Because you got to release it when you wake up first thing in the morning. But sometimes people go out throughout their day and actually hold physical tension or emotional tension. And with meditation, it helps you to create this sense of breath that actually help you release the physical, I'll call it the built up tension within your body. And so it helps provide good health to ease and exhale any pain and discomfort. Sometimes we want to go so much. And just for now, we can test it ourselves now. You can probably feel some sort of tension within your own body at this moment. And I'm pretty sensitive, and I can feel my tension in my elbow right now, even though it's something I wouldn't probably have noticed on a regular basis, but I do a lot of energy work, and I can feel when there's something like tension in my body that requires me to take a deep breath. Also, it helps with exhaling with, as you breathe, to help you relieve fatigue. It's not like it's going to make you fall asleep, even though it's good if you do, but it does help with releasing tension, helping easing any sort of fatigue. I always tell people it's like a lighter version of a nap that helps you recharge, so you don't have to actually kind of go into a deep, deep sleep. It also helps with exhaling any resentment and hatred. Sometimes you actually have a bad moment or somebody triggers your emotions in kind of a negative way. You can actually ease it out with meditation as well. So it helps increase the calmness. With the quarantine and hearing all that we're doing with COVID-19, so it's going to create this thing about a little sense of depression, sadness, irritability, anger, because we're going to feel it all when we're in quarantine, locked in our own house, right? There was a point where I had to give my own example. Trump was on the news, and people was just before we actually was getting ready to lock down. I think it was the second day we was on. Our official government has closed our borders, And there was a sense of panic amongst the U.S. that was really high. And it actually struck me pretty to the point where I was feeling like I was hyperventilating. You know how you see something on TV and you're like, this is almost like 9/11, but worse. And it made me actually run and sit in a chair. And I actually had to just do deep, deep breaths to kind of release the fear. It was like a crippling fear. It wasn't like oh, it's kind of scary. No, I was like in crippling fear. And it actually helped me doing this deep breath for about 20 to 30 minutes. I completely lost all the fear, and I was completely calm and ended up on Facebook Live the next day trying to help everybody else because I actually went into a more grounded space. So meditation is extremely positive. It's extremely creative towards your thoughts and mind. Any harmful mindsets or any fear-based can actually be released just through meditation. It's also a good way to promote good emotions. And it's also another thing about meditation is that it helps with inner reflection, the virtue of harmlessness and kindness. So I always tell people, what is that word? It's forgiveness. And so meditation is a big thing that can really help you relieve any harboring negative injury of thought. With prayer, if you do prayer in coinciding with your meditation, it's going to actually boost your meditation even more. Again, that great invitation in the beginning, or Psalms 91, or whatever prayer that you find to be something that you can connect to. If you do it in the beginning and try to make it all encompassing towards your, like yourself, your family, your pets, all encompassing into one, and do it every day in the beginning of your meditation, every day in rhythm, you're going to actually notice an increase of what we call spiritual divinity. So, you know, faith is key, the intent is key, and sometimes the intent can be an emotion, and which we want you to focus on is the kindness and the mindset of forgiveness. So that when you are healing or you're in prayer and you're trying to connect to the divine, we want you to think in such a tenderness of the heart that we want you to think of something that will make you almost like a Pillsbury Doughboy, like that kind of squeeze of the heart. We want you to kind of think in that manner, especially with COVID-19. I always tell people think of something so adorable just before you meditate, like pray and then think of something so sweet and then meditate, because that sweetness is what's going to bring you the clarity and the divinity of peace and healing in a much quicker rate. So people are like, oh my God, so you just think of puppies every time I meditate? Perfect. When I did my meditation at a retreat, I visualized riding a horse. And it was the cutest. I actually had my first horseback ride. And I jumped, in my meditation, I dreamt about that same horse, and the horse looking back at me, smiling, see if I was okay. And I used that for a while during my meditation. So it was very great. It was a really good way to during a very challenging time. So there you go.
Bless you.
Bless you.
So, that's one of the tips that I have with coinciding with prayer. Prayer is key to help you build that spiritual connection and to release fear. So any questions on that? Should be straightforward.
I think too, I think it's such a great, if I can, add a thought to it. It's such a great thing to be able to foster that skill of looking inward and looking outward, like what's affecting me on the inside and what's affecting me on the outside, and how is the outside affecting the inside, and how is the inside affecting the outside.
Yeah, but here's your emotions. That's the key. A lot of people can't focus on meditation. They have a hard time focusing. And I tell them the best way to meditate, if you can't meditate, because you try to gather everything, your to-do list, the whole nine, is to listen to a favorite song. And my favorite song, when I first learned how to meditate, no lie, was Mariah Carey, Make It Happen. You're like, how can you meditate to make it happen? I was meditating for the Lord to that song. And it was great. It was a very short song. What it is taking your mind to be free listen to the lyrics, you're getting happy, you're getting free in your thought, and all of a sudden the clarity will start to come in, or clairvoyancy will come in, or something will make you go, oh, I need to do that. Oh, that's a creative insight. Allowing your mind to be free is another thing, because when you're doing the in and out, it can get busy. And what you want to do is clarity of the mind. And the easiest way people say, I can't meditate. I was like, when you drive, you're driving, you're kind of in the meditative state. You're not knowing where you're going, but you're going. That's meditation. And that clarity when you're driving and you got your favorite song on, that's kind of how meditation feels. But you just got to be still doing that same physical. I got to pretend I'm driving now so I can meditate. That's the same thing, letting your mind be free and focusing on something else. So that's a tip.
Yeah. So we got number 1, meditation. Number 2, prayer.
Yes. So, like I said, prayer is all in coincide. Prayer is a good, like I said, if you do the great invocation, the one I just shared, or a prayer of your choice, which I recommend, Psalms 91 or Psalms 23.
I like 91.
Especially which one you like, Lisa?
91. That's a good one.
Yeah, if you're dealing with money challenges, Psalms 23. If you're dealing with a lot of challenges, like overall, Psalms 91. And trust me, if you do it twice a day, a quick beginning prayer twice a day, first in the morning and then again at night, you actually start to increase the spiritual power within your aura. And a lot of people don't think it works. That's why I tell people that you have to lead by faith. Someone sensitive as me, I can turn and look at you and tell that you've been praying based by your aura. The stronger the more you pray on it. And people say, it's just words. I'm like, well, you really put the intent to your word. It's going to increase in your aura. So if you're going through a challenge, people won't be able to pierce through your aura as much because you have that, I call it the spiritual connection, building the walls of not just holiness, but divinity. We can see the halo around your aura. And we can tell that the spirit is with you by your prayer. And so don't slack on prayer. Just saying prayer is the form of meditation as well, or intent of forgiveness. So yes, definitely do prayer, and it can be seen in your aura just by simple prayer. I call it holy words. Even mantras can be seen in your aura. Some people have done the mantra, and I remember being in a gallery, doing a gallery reading for full people in the room. And I turned to her and I said, "You've been doing the mantra for more than 21 days." She looked at me like, "Huh?" Because it was actually a seal of the chakra on her chest, like it was the golden light of the symbol. She's like, "Oh my God, I've been practicing like all day, just chanting." I'm like, see, it can be actually seen in your aura, especially someone who's like into Christianity. I can actually see either kind of like right here or on their chest, the cross, the holy cross on their chest. So do not underestimate the prayer. If you do it as often as you can, do your own intent. Just keep in mind forgiveness, compassion, and kindness when you see it. And see something so sweet when you say it, like a puppy or something, like a cat or whatever. And then when you say the prayer, it's just, it's on you. And we can see it and we can feel it. So keep that in mind, especially through these challenging times.
Yeah. Can I share something with y'all? Like I came back across, so every year, I'm very like process oriented, like this. And I set up systems. And I started to a couple of years ago, like I'll make a goals and game plan list in Evernote of just, it might be work related. It might be, hey, I want to get my dog a playmate this year, like I want to go surfing, etc. Like I'll put things like that on the list for the year. But I started a couple of years ago to, as I'm doing the year-end closeout from the year before and kind of like opening up to the next year, thinking about like, okay, like what are areas to press into or to grow into? And I reopened this the other day and I was like, wow, this is kind of timely. There was I think it's like an ancient Hasidic prayer or quote of sorts. I don't know exactly what they call it. it says, when you walk across the fields with your mind pure and holy, then from all the stones and all growing things and all animals, the sparks of their soul come out and cling to you, and then they are purified and become a holy fire in you.
Girl, the holy fire, catch it. Okay, that was great. Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, I'm reading this and I was like, oh my God, like, you know, you never necessarily know what's coming down the pike, you know, within a given year or next month or next week. But I just thought that was really cool to think about. It's like, okay, start
Girl,
here.
that was great. The holy fire there's a holy fire meditation. It's your physical body. You're the first flame, and then there's the second flame, and then the flame of spirit. And that's your three flames that's within you. Girl, if you can get into that level of meditation and holding that kind of spiritual light, you can burn away all impurities. And it's like the Holy Spirit has really kind of encompassed you. You become the connection of Holy Spirit at that point. It's really powerful when you connect to the Holy Fire. You hear people. I'm a Holy Fire Reiki master. It's a beautiful experience. If you take that journey, you take that walk. It's a powerful connection with spirit. And it's going to make you feel and connect to life differently. Like, you're going to be more compassionate. You've never been so compassionate. You'd be like delicate, like, you know how you see a bee and you're like swatting at it. You won't even swat at it anymore. You'd be like, oh, that's kindness of life. Like, you're going to be really tender to the heart, connecting to the holy fire. It's a powerful experience to have the holy fire experience. So I hope you go on that journey. I had to do a card. I had to. It's the snake. Snake is about healing and recovery, really powerful healing. And that's what we're all going through right now. We're all kind of going through a transformation and recovery. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's a snake. And it's really powerful healing at this time. So I really highly recommend it, that, you know, going through prayer and meditation, the holy fire connection. Yeah, you're going to have a transformation, and it's going to be a beautiful, deep transformation once you decide to be consistent and disciplined. And just remember, it's easy as simply as words, just saying the sacred words every day, twice a day. You'll see a transformation in 21 days. Yep.
Very cool.
Well,
Sheila, I think I need to plug my laptop in, so I got to grab my charger here. But you were going to introduce Lisa for the next two.
Yes, that's right. I was wondering, I was like, what am I doing? Lisa has been a very good friend of mine, and we have done some healings together. She's pretty phenomenal, okay? She is a chief energy officer. She assists people with muscle testing, energy scanning. She's also all about connecting with the conscious mind, with the subconscious mind. So it's like the conscious mind going into the subconscious, okay? But she's utilizing the emotion code, the Sedona method. She can help you explore any questions about your well-being. From my experience with her, she does help you find these deep-rooted emotional, I call it stagnant energy within your physical body, because a lot of people think emotion is something that's heard. But sometimes you can see it, but there's also within the body. She can actually help you release those emotions from your physical form, like your physical aura. So she's really good with the energetic conversation, okay? She's also great with sleep, nutritional toxicities in your body, imbalances in your daily life. Really good at processing any kind of form of recalibration of your energetic system as well. So I had to give her the harnessing of the power within, Lisa Hazelgrove. So that was a lot there, but I had to say it all.
Wow. Thank you. That's really good. I don't know how to follow that one up.
Which is pretty awesome.
Well, oops, I'm knocking things over. Energy. We're energy. Everything's energy. So that's kind of what I look at, is that energy part of you. Sleep is what helps us to recalibrate. to replenish, repair, rejuvenate, all of these amazing things. And so my first tip about sleep, I'm going to talk about sleep and give you an emotion tip as well, is that we need melatonin. We desperately need melatonin. And if you don't know what that is, it's a sleep hormone. And we actually secrete it from our body. It's coming from this thing we can't see. It's called actually our third eye. Sheila knows all about that. Our pineal gland. And it secretes this melatonin and it makes us sleepy at night. But the thing is, our gas tank's empty. And if you look at people with cancer, for example, there's, let's say 2 women, same age, one has breast cancer, one does not. The one with breast cancer is going to have a 1/10 of the melatonin that the woman her age that doesn't have breast cancer. So the one with cancer only has a 1/10 of melatonin in her body. So it's so important that we're replenishing that fuel tank and we're filling it up. How do you do that, Lisa? Well, the best way to do that, and if you ever look at me on Facebook, I'm out walking during, the morning, and I'm facing the sun. And what I'm doing, I'm facing the sun without sunglasses. Now, I'm not looking up directly at the sun, mind you, okay? But I'm eye level, and letting the sun come in through my eyes. What that does is it helps to fill this pineal gland up. In other words, it's filling it up with fuel. So that around 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, my melatonin is going to start secreting into my body, telling my body it's time to go to bed. And you can get melatonin from food. You can get it from meats and grains and fruits and vegetables. And you can also buy it as a supplement. But the best way to get that melatonin is the daylight through the eyes, because we're light and dark creatures. We live by the light and dark. We ebb and flow. The moon, the sun. I mean, we're earthlings. We're part of the earth. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but our body is looking for a reference to the earth every 90 seconds. This was a study done in California. Every 90 seconds, my body's going, okay, Lisa, where's the earth? You need to get outside. You need to ground. You need to earth. So I can't always walk barefoot, but what I can do, like I said, is get that sun through my eyes. And what's happening with the melatonin right now, even if you are getting outside and you're getting that light, that daylight through the eyes, when you come home, guess what we're doing now with the COVID-19? We're all on the computer. We're all on our cell phones, right? This little dude right here. So what that does is it has a backlight. It's a blue light. And that blue light is telling my body it's daytime. Well, it's not so bad during the day, but if I'm getting on the computer right before I go to bed or on my phone, like my students at University of Richmond, and I always ask them, what is their nighttime wind down? What are they doing to de-stress the day? And they're all getting on their cell phones or their computer. So what that's doing is telling my body, oh, it's daytime. Click. My body's just turned off melatonin. I don't have it. So where to go? Well, you told your brain, your pineal gland, that it's daytime now. So we really need to monitor this, all these electronics, because it's that backlight. And then I ask people, what is your bedtime routine? Do you like to read? Oh, yes. And they said, well, I get my iPad. And again, there's a backlight to that. So if you can get a real book, I know they're hard to find, and read from that is the best thing you can do. Or listen to soft music at night. But so yeah, it's that melatonin that we're disrupting right now. And we had been doing this even before COVID-19 hit. So it's kind of like on steroids right now, that we're I guess, influencing or interrupting that natural we're circumventing that natural mechanism in our body that's what it's supposed to do. So we get our cues, our body get our cues from light and get our cues from temperature. So if our body is not cooling down right before bed and the lights are not dimming down, and you can get low lights, by the way, you can go to the store and get these low lights, and right around 6 o'clock, I start turning lights off, not on. And I'm making sure that I've got a very low light over here. Especially if I'm reading, I want it right beside me so that I can see what I'm reading. But we're disrupting that, and that's causing us to be, you know, it's causing a depletion in our melatonin, which is so important. And our average length of day has shortened. So what used to be like 12 hours day, 12 hours night, has changed to where, you know, the day is like 16 hours now. So we're exposed to all of this unnatural or man-made light for much further than we used to be. So our body really is changing, and we're not keeping up with the fact that we need this, and it's something that is paramount to helping us to sleep better. So again, you can use, I'm right now using what we call a full spectrum light, and this is actually daylight that I'm using. So at night, if I want to just, it has 3 different levels, so I can turn it like down right now, bright, down. So at night, I'm making sure that that's getting a lot lower and it's not so bright. But this is something you can do to help, you know, recalibrate the body so that it's able to do what it's naturally supposed to do, and that's secrete that melatonin. The only difference between an adult and, let's say, a preteen, a 13 or 14-year-old, their melatonin drops later. So if you have preteens and you keep saying go to bed, well, I can't, I'm not sleepy, they may not be sleepy. They're doing studies right now with preteens, and they're going to bed so much later, and then they're having to get up so much earlier to go to school, of course not right now, that they actually changed the start times. A lot of schools made that later for them. Biggest thing, I was like, yay, finally they understand that these pre-teenagers, that their melatonin is dropping much later, so they need to be sleeping longer in the morning than what we do. Their bodies are changing, they've got hormones going on, so melatonin is crucial to their building strong bones by sleeping better. So again, it's just being mindful of, you know, what's going on with the light and what's in your day, and, you know, how much of this man-made light are you getting, and how much natural light are you getting. And there's sometimes I'll just go out on the deck, sit in the chair, and just let the sun shine right on my face, and it's really helping to balance that, getting that natural form of light, and that's how we thrive. You know, it's that blue wavelength or spectrum that's coming in and disrupting everything. So again, you know, look at the TVs, look at the computers, and my students freak out when I say if you can boot everything down about an hour before bed. They kind of go absolutely crazy about that. But maybe start with something easy. And I see there's a chat here. Let's see, do you think the preteen later drop in melatonin is caused by what? You went away, where'd you go? Yes, I do. So what that's doing is it's circumventing that natural protective mechanism that we have, Patrick. And it's telling the brain that it's daytime. So it's the same thing in the preteen, that it's telling them, oh, guess what? It's daytime now. I have a lot of people, especially my students, that say they get up in the middle of the night to go use the restroom and they turn the bright light on. Try not to do that. If you can have a night light, a plug-in, you know, one of those little night lights that we used to have, that you can plug in down towards the floor, that's a great thing to have. Of course, you don't want to hurt yourself trying to go to the restroom, but as soon as you turn on that bright light switch, it switches off the melatonin. So yes, so they are actually being, you know, influenced is a good word, by the electronics, and they need to power down just as much as we do. So yeah, So that was my first tip. How are we doing on time? Sorry. We doing okay?
I think so.
Okay. I think so. So next I want to talk about our emotions right now and what I'm suggesting to people.
That company in the background.
Do what?
I didn't know if you were talking to me.
Yeah, kind of was. Sorry. Hi, Rue. But now I want to talk about emotions because as Sheila said, you know, and what I found out even before COVID-19 hit, I always, in my class, and this was March 3rd, I always get my class, my third class at University of Richmond, to fill out a questionnaire for me. And it really is about just about the emotions that they're going through. And even before all of this, I'm sitting there reading these emotions about these young adults, and really tears in my eyes because they were just all what I call in survival mode. And this is before this hit. So I know that this has had a huge impact on a lot of people emotionally because we were already, I think, on an emotional, you know, upheaval. You know, it's so interesting because I'd have people say, yeah, I visited the campus today and I'm looking at the students and they look like zombies. You know, it's just like there's no light in their eye. And they're just walking by you. They're not even acknowledging, you know, you're walking by them and saying hi. So they're just overwhelmed with all of this worry and pressure from school. And then when this hit, it was just, you know, again, it was, yeah, it was just like a tsunami hit them and they didn't know how to react. So what I want to do, and I can get into this further when we do the breakout sessions, but what I want to do is I want you to be more mindful about your emotions. And I don't want you to ignore them. So when you do feel something surfacing, and it's by the way, it's coming back up. Most of our emotions we're pulling them from the past and bringing them to the present. Very few emotions are what we call current emotions. Most are from the past. And something happens to me, whether it's an event like this, what's going on right now, the pandemic, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm hit, like Sheila's talking about, and I'm going back to a 3-year or 4-year-old going, fear. Wait a minute, deja vu. I've felt this before. And it was fear coming back up to the surface that I felt when I was like 4 years old, when the dog snapped at me. And then they had to get rid of the dog. And then I had to deal with my brother's anger and resentment because they got rid of the dog because the dog snapped at me. It's all my fault. You got rid of our dog. It's your fault. And all of this stuff is like, I'm like, where in the heck is all this coming from? These emotions are bubbling back up because I didn't take care of them physically. I did spiritually maybe, but we actually trap them on a cellular level. So boom, I'm hit with fear and I didn't release that physically. So when this virus hit again, this virus, it hit me and all of a sudden I've got fear coming back up again. So you want to be able to rate yourself of where you are on that scale. And Aubrey, I'm going to send you that emotional scale, okay?
Yes,
absolutely. That I have. Okay, so at the very top of the emotional scale is enlightenment or gratitude. Or you come on down, love, accomplishment, you know, empowerment. These are around 700 hertz. So hertz is how we measure the wavelength, okay? So emotion has a wavelength, okay? So when you feel like your energy goes boom, when the fear hits, it does. It literally is going down. You're like, you're booting down like a computer. And what we want to do, and you come down to the middle, there's anger, there's resentment, there's depression. You come down a little bit lower. all the way to the bottom, and the very bottom of this scale is shame. And unfortunately, I know of one, person, an actor that was so far down on this scale in the shame category that he couldn't come out of it, and that was Robin Williams.
Yeah, he was definitely deep in it.
He could not get out of it. He was so far. So that's around 20 hertz. Okay, so we've dropped all the way from 1,000 hertz all the way down to 20 hertz. It's really hard to get that energy back now, and that's why all of these tips are so paramount right now to help us get back up and to raise that frequency or that vibration back up again. Any tool you have in your toolkit, you grab it. Meditation, food,
prayer,
and you take and sleep. Oh my gosh. And what we're doing, we're not sleeping right now.
Yeah.
So we want to raise that vibration back up. So number one, you got to figure out where you are on this scale. Okay. And again,
sometimes you don't know though, Lisa. Remember? Sometimes you don't know that you're in that lowest frequency.
You don't. So there's a little tool I'm going to give you, and it's called FLASH. Okay, it's an acronym. And this is what they gave my son and myself when we were in such deep, deep depression. And FLASH stands for fear, love, anger, sadness, and hate. Those are the top 5. So something happens to me. Boom. Okay, there's a pandemic. What do I do? And it's kind of Chicken Little syndrome. Sky's falling. So stop. FLASH. Where are you right now? Are you feeling love? No. Are you feeling anger? Yeah. Sadness? Yeah. Okay. That's a tool you've just identified. Now what you want to do is use another tool in that same category, a scale from 1 to 10. It's a pain scale, but it's also an emotional scale. So 1 being very slightly feel it, 10 extreme. Where are you on that? Are you a 1? Are you a 10? Are you in the middle? Okay. Once you've identified where you're feeling and what that emotion is and where you are on that scale, then what are you going to do? You're going to pull out your toolkit. Okay. What can I do right now to raise my vibration back up again? It's all about the vibration. And we know this. We know it's about energy. Everything is energy. And when we are zapped of that energy, sometimes the zap is this thing. This zaps our energy. So it means I may need to turn that off for a while. I need to go off grid. I need to do whatever I can to regain that frequency, that high vibrating frequency, and bring it back. It's like a roller coaster. I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. But what I want to do is get to a point where I've got momentum going. And if you've got a 70-mile-an-hour train going and you're angry, you can't stop it right away. You got to slow it down. Well, I put the brake on, Lisa, but I haven't stopped yet. Well, you put the brake on, but wait a minute, it's about, stop. Wait a minute, it's going back up. Okay, stop. Go outside, get into nature. Remember your toolkit, okay? Visualization, powerful tool, okay? So I'm visualizing right now that love and gratitude and enlightenment. And if I can't visualize it, I'm going to go, like Sheila says, I'm going to go deep, deep, deep in meditation. And sometimes I meditate 5 times a day.
And music too. Music can be your meditation.
Music can bring you out of it. But right now we're talking about, the emotional piece and what can I do? And identifying where you are is paramount. I remember this. I know exactly what this is all about. And then forgiveness. And you have to be able to forgive. And it's always somebody, I don't care what the event is, there's always someone you're blaming for this. You need to forgive them. And I can't remember Eva's last name, but she's a doctor, and I saw her on Oprah Winfrey, and it was an interview she was doing. And Eva had a twin, I believe. Yeah, because she said she mentioned Dr. Mangala, Dr. Death. And they were, she was in the death march. They had already, you know, separated her and her sister from her family, and she had a broken back. I don't know how this woman was walking with a broken back, but they found her underneath a pile of dead people and saved her. An amazing woman. She forgave everyone.
Sometimes that's the only way to go, is to forgive. That's the best way to healing, is forgiveness.
If you can forgive them, if Eva can do it, by George, I can do it.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's the hardest part.
those are my tips. Yeah. So
That's beautiful, Lisa. I mean, I think that's so practical too, is just having that tool of being able to stop yourself for a second and say, hold on, let's check in.
it's a well check.
Yeah.
It's a check-in. How you doing today, Lisa? Trying to do a New York accent, sorry. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? And if I'm not doing so good, I got to check and say, Lisa, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Bueller?
And it can come up on you quick. So
It comes up on you. It's like a tsunami. Bueller, hello? Where are you? Okay? Let's get out of this right now, girlfriend. I have no time for this. Okay? Yeah. Let's start living. Let's start living the life. Let's make the world that we want to live in, and let's go live in it. Let's do it.
that is the motto of 2020.
Yeah.
How do you want to live in this life right now? Like just 2020, COVID-19. We got to get ourselves from fear and say, how do I want to live my life? You can't live it by fear.
I'm not living in fear anymore.
Yeah, got to go by faith now.
I'm not going to do it. No,
You got to know.
And if that's what they want to talk about, I'm sorry, I have no time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about good.
Yep.
What's good, and I want to create the world that is absolutely my ideal world. I'm gonna go live in it.
Yep.
You can say whatever you want. You can tell me I'm sticking my head in the sand or whatever.
A lot of people are gonna probably think when you're so optimistic, people are like, is she crazy? Well, you have to be. If you want to live in a piece of happiness and finding your joy in the mix of this chaos, you better go to joy.
You're damn right. I'm crazy.
Yeah.
It's the biology. To quote Bruce Lipton, it's the biology of belief.
Yep. And this is it. I think this is what 2020 is really pushing us. Do that. So that was great.
Okay, well, I get to introduce Kelley Ryan, and she graduated from Northwestern University with a doctorate in physical therapy in 2006. She is one of only 4 I can't talk right now, golly day, 4 board certified women's health specialists in Richmond, and has a holistic physical therapy practice focused on helping people heal physically so they can thrive. And I love that word, thrive.
Well, it's a good segue from your talk about emotions to mine, because I am a physical therapist and we keep the issues in the tissues. And so I see people usually with pain, and sometimes with dysfunction, like things aren't working properly. But when I see with people with pain, there's almost always an emotional component to it. And when we have a lot of emotions that we've been kind of pushing down for time, and we all do that, it starts to come out in our body. And the places I see that are in people's jaw, and they get jaw pain, TMJ, headaches, tension in their neck, in their pelvic floor. My pelvic floor. Everybody has a pelvic floor, even guys. So tension in the openings of the body, either in the jaw or in the pelvis, or in the gut. And in the gut, I see things like IBS and digestive issues and constipation. So I have some specialized training to look at the muscles specifically in the pelvis and help people with things like painful sex, pelvic pain, things like endometriosis type pain, bladder pain, chronic prostatitis or pain down there for guys. So pain is a big thing that I see. I also see a lot of postpartum moms. So you guys might be thinking, well, I don't have this problem, but someone you know and love for sure, statistically speaking, does. 20% of women leak. And so you definitely know some woman in your life who leaks when they do jumping jacks, or maybe they just don't do jumping jacks because they would leak. So leaking, I see women for prolapse, where there's kind of a falling out sensation in the pelvis, often related to either chronic constipation or having babies. I see pregnant women, people who have scar pain. I have some specialized training to work on the digestive organs and the viscera. And a lot of times people have a surgery and they're not taught how to recover from that surgery, and they get a lot of scar tissue. And because I have all this training kind of in the pelvis and these muscles deep in the body, I'm really good at treating people who have back pain and hip pain and pain around the pelvic joints. So I see a lot of people who have seen lots and lots of doctors and lots of chiropractors or other physical therapists. And because I really specialize in this area, I usually can help them. So that's something I do. Almost all my patients are like, I had no idea that anyone did this kind of work. And they usually have pain and issues for years or decades before finally figuring out that I am a resource for them. So if you have friends, pass on the word that pain and leaking is not normal. I have some tips for you guys. One is the time is now. And what I mean by that is if you're here today, you're probably ready for a health change or a health improvement. And there's always a barrier there. You know, we want to keep life the same because there's comfort in the same, but the time is now. If you're 75% sure that you want to make a habit change, then do it. Because your brain will always come up with an excuse for you to stay where you are. So if you're like, this meditation stuff sounds interesting, just start with 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And if you're like, hey, well, I do have some extra time now that I don't have to commute to work, just start. And the other tip that I have, which is super related, is that if you have pain or if you have digestive issues or if you're leaking or any sort of pain, or if your body is making it difficult due to pain or stiffness to take care of the things you want to take care of, your children, working out, running, whatever is important to you, then heal now. Even though we're all on quarantine and life is super different, it's in some ways an ideal time to use this weird and unusual time to actually focus on your movement and your healthy habits and emerge from this craziness healthier and happier, vibrating on a higher frequency. And the one thing that I know to be true is that when you're in pain, you can't vibrate on a higher frequency because you are just operating in difficult conditions. And so I help people when they are in pain to reduce their pain and have control over pain. Know some things that they can do to emerge from it. I've seen so many people who have like decades of scar tissue, or a guy I saw, guys have pelvic floor problems too. I saw a guy yesterday with pelvic pain, and just in a telehealth session, teaching him what he needs to do, he was able to reduce his pain, squat for work, and be able to move better, and just taking control over your health. And so, yeah, I just want to inspire you that if you're thinking about a health change, no matter what it is, take the first step. Currently, right now, I'm not seeing patients in person yet. I'm hoping in late May or early June to start doing one-on-one in-home or in clinic at the well, seeing patients in person. But right now I do offer in-home with social distancing or telehealth physical therapy, and it's been great. It's worked really, really well. I have a free workshop next week on chronic pelvic pain. So if you have somebody in your life that has pain between the belly button and the thighs, then you can tell them about that workshop. And then I have another free like Q&A and chat for postpartum moms the following week. So yeah, make a change.
Hey, Kelley.
I'm going to now introduce.
Wait,
yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So can you work on, okay, so I have a pain in my lower dantian, and it only.
Sorry, I didn't get that. You have a pain where?
The lower dantian, right underneath the navel.
Okay.
Right underneath the navel, like 2 inches, which I call it the lower dantian. So I always get pain there, and it only goes away, which it actually causes pain to go into my pelvic. And I feel like it's some pressure on the bladder too, but it only goes away when I do dantian breathing. I don't know if you ever heard of dantian breathing. And qigong on the lower dantian. So I've been doing it for 2 weeks now, and then I feel a little pressure now. Like I didn't do qigong this morning, but if I done qigong, it goes away maybe 24 hours. And if I do it consistently, it stays gone. But I have to be consistent. I'm not that consistent. But
there's so many pathways to the physical body. One of them is physical. So there's fascia or like cotton candy-like connections throughout the whole body, and that's why when you move your arm, tissues in your foot are moving. We're all connected. So if I were to see you, I would look at the fascia or the cotton candy-like connections in your lower belly to see if there's any stuckness or anything that is stuck. It can be mechanical from old surgeries or old scars or old injuries, but things are like, I'll sometimes glide the uterus and glide the bladder and see if there's any fascial restrictions through that visceral work that I know how to do. And so that's like my vantage point is physical. And as I'm working physically, a lot of times emotional things come up for people. And then I help them, with that, or I refer to someone else who's a counselor. But there's a lot of ways into the physical body, and I use meditation, sleep, prayer, if that's meaningful to people, the work of the breath to also get there. But my point of view is very physical, so I feel, does that make sense?
Yeah, because I know I've been doing qigong. I had to go look it up, like lower back qigong, and I've been doing qigong, and it's definitely moved like whatever that, I call it pocket of energy or stuckness, because it does definitely feel stuck. And been doing it, and qigong has been definitely helping that lower under navel dantian area. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, but I did have pain in my pelvic until I got it moved.
Yeah, and you might find that like some physical work can just kind of make you make your breath work just progress more quickly.
Yes. Okay. Great. Cool. Okay.
I have a kind of question for you too, Kelley. Is with everyone, regardless of if they're working or not, they're at home and sitting a lot, right? So I've experienced this myself since, being on the computer more and working from a home office. And I've talked with others that are also experiencing it, but tight hips, being a problem with that. Would that be something that you would attend to? And do you have anything to, like a little snippet or just something to share about that?
My biggest tip for that is nutritious movement. So I tell people, hey, we're hunters and gatherers. That's where we come from. We're supposed to be working or walking 12 to 14 miles a day. So that's how our bodies are made. And so we are not made to sit 8 hours a day. So when I am working, I work at my kitchen counter with my laptop boosted up. It's not my kitchen counter, but I work standing. And then I might take a break and work sitting. And then I might take a break and work on my stomach. And then I might take a break and cycle through that again. So dynamic movement is really, really, really important. We're just not meant to sit. And historically, as our bodies were developed and made, when we did sit, we would sit in a squat. So if we were tired, and you see this in the East, if you were tired, you would squat all the way down to the ground, and that's also how we would go to the bathroom. And so that's how our bodies are made. So sitting is not natural, and we have to do it to drive and to work in our modern society, but just keeping movement really, really dynamic. I post a little bit about this on my Instagram about just nutritious movement, like dynamic and nutritious, keeping things moving, and a lot of hip stretches.
Okay, one last question. Do you help with women with fibroids?
Yes.
Okay, I'll probably have a nice little following for you. Okay.
What was the question? I missed
Fibroids. Women have issues with fibroids, and I know that's probably right in that same area of the pelvic as well, some issues with block. Okay, but I know there's a lot of women dealing with fibroids, and that would probably be right in your field.
And I'm assuming also, one last question, just one more, so I know that you had addressed particularly postpartum, but like, for instance, my brain went to, and I'm not seeing them right now, but like one of our clients, they are the woman 70, and we would do squat jacks instead of jumping jacks because of the leaking issue. Is that something that at that age can be improved upon?
Yeah. So that's one thing that I'm sort of on a mission, is to stop normalizing leaking postpartum. And postpartum, like, could be 20 years post a baby. And some, actually, I had a runner recently who had a leaking issue, and she never had a baby. So a lot of times it's actually really simple things like teaching people how to breathe and move. A lot of times women think, hey, I need to hold my belly in for aesthetic reasons because we have a cultural message that we're supposed to look a certain way, or we think it's a healthy thing to do for your spine. And so just teaching people how to breathe and move will sometimes unlock that problem really, really quickly.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. Oh, that was great. I think we all wanted to ask questions, so that was beneficial.
So next is going to be Michael, and he has a background in massage therapy and works in integrative medicine. He started his career as a chef and a U.S. Marine, and he's going to talk to you about movement and nutrition.
Hey, everyone. So I wanted I wear many hats in my field, and I wanted to kind of start with some background of my transformational journey and why I got into what I'm doing now. At a very young age, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, which is a neurological condition where there's a lot of twitching and tics, verbal tics, physical tics that are uncontrolled. So I was on a lot of medication for that. And then I had severe asthma where I had a machine at night to breathe. I, wake up, couldn't breathe, and ADHD, and just kind of being chucked, 6-year-old kid being given all these medications. And I took into my kind of being that I was broken, that I was different from the other kid, that, I couldn't be quote unquote normal. So for a long time, I was very depressed. I had eating addiction, became obese, and I lived a pretty crappy, unhealthy childhood. And then in high school, I decided, hey, like there's something that needs to change. And I decided to ask for help, to really kind of put my mindset towards, I need to take charge of my own health. And once I made that decision that it's based on me to take charge versus giving my power to somebody else, I started my health journey. And then I started to transform myself, and then kind of learn about health. And the more I transform, the less medications I took, the symptoms went away. And then I just really changed my being, my DNA, everything about me. And then I became obsessed with, why did that happen? How does that happen? And how can I help other people understand that they're not broken just because they've been told that, they have this illness, or it's in their bloodline or DNA or whatever. So that's kind of how I got started. So now I work as a health coach, working with the whole human, to really help them understand that there's many different aspects of the body, life, mindset, things that are going on in this ecosystem that are causing these imbalances in the body, that people are trying to overcome pain and lose weight and mindset and all that. And then I work in integrative medicine in men's sexual health. So I'm working with the men's pelvic floor, and they're coming in for ED. Their penis is not working, but they're saying, hey, can you fix this one thing? And then we're working with the whole body and saying, hey, there's different layers of health that we need to unpeel first to really get to that, that problem. So one thing that a lot of the men that I work with, they are trying to talk to them about nutrition. People have a very certain way that they've eaten for a long time, and it's very confusing in the cooking world of like how to cook, what to cook, this diet, that diet. So I'm really trying to come in and make it easy for people to understand nutrition, and like how to cook easily, how to cook quickly, so that they can really help their body heal. So I've kind of put together some food mantras to really kind of make it easier when you're choosing food, to choose food for nutrition versus choosing food for that's not as nutritious. And my first food mantra is, am I choosing food for mouth pleasure, or food or for nutrition? Because that means that every day from when we wake up and when we go to sleep, our cells are dying and they're rebuilding, and we need to take in building materials, nutrients and things from whole foods to help rebuild our cells and build our temple. They say our body is our temple, and when you pick foods from like processed foods, we're building our temple with foam balls, versus picking foods that are whole foods from the earth. We're using bricks and using better materials to rebuild this body every day that's breaking down. So it's a question of how can we rebuild faster, our body faster than we're breaking down, to keep that balance, to keep health going, so that we can defend ourselves from viruses, from, you know, different toxins and things in the world. How do we keep it strong? And there seems to be a lot of confusion when you go to the grocery store and you're like confused of like, is this nutrients? You know, is this good for me? Is it not good for me? And you know, these companies put in a lot of money to trick us into thinking that their food is healthy, and it, you know, and it's not. So it's kind of, when you're looking at something to eat, you know, just think, is this a whole food from the earth? Is this going to give nutrients to my body, or is this going to be something that's processed and not give me nutrients? And is it for my taste? Like, is it going to taste good, or is it going to actually help, you know, my body do what it's supposed to do? And then the next one is when you're going and looking at a product, if you put your thumb over the nutrient label, are the nutrients expanding outside of my thumb? So can I put my thumb over it and cover up the nutrients? If I can, then it's going to be more nutritious for our body, because it's less preservatives, less you know, things in there that are going to be harmful. So the best you can do is stay in the produce section. But if you have to go and buy something from the shelf, put your thumb over the ingredients. And if it's really, you know, splashing over and there's tons of ingredients, then it's probably not a good thing to eat that's going to be you know, nutritious for your body.
That's very effective in terms of using that rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb.
And let's see what I put for the third one. Oh, and then will this food last longer than one season? So there are a lot of things on the shelf that can last up to 2, 3, 4 years, you know, like in a can, in a jar. And a lot of times we think, oh, it's a vegetable in there, or it's some sort of whole food, but then there's a lot of preservatives in there and a lot of things that are going to maintain that. So it's best to stay to food that is going to break down naturally as the season changes. If we can eat within that season, what grows in that season is going to be better for our body than trying to stock up our pantry with so much stuff to eat, versus going on a regular cycle and, you know, going to your farmer's market if you can, or just staying to that produce section of like, can I eat from the earth, or eat something that is close to the earth, you know, as possible. Because again, those plants have certain chemicals in them that are made to protect themselves from getting eaten and from other, you know, predators. So when we ingest those whole foods, we're going to get those polyphenols, those antioxidants that are going to protect our cells from the coronavirus, from different diseases, and like help our immune system become stronger and really just protect our temple. You know, like these are our guards, these are our army to really help our body function cohesively. And then also, you know, our microbiome, which is like a whole nother topic of keeping our microbiome intact and whole, and having that good bacteria, having the bacteria from the earth, from the soil. You know, we need to really kind of understand the inside of the body, because we're living and our perception is outward into the world, but we don't always go inside and have the awareness of what's going on inside. So then we become confused. And then when we're confused, we look for answers, and then we find an answer from a source that may not be, you know, a good source. And then we take that to heart, and then we kind of, you know, just live outside versus living within time, to kind of tuning in and saying, you know, what does my body want today, you know? So what I am kind of offering is a cooking coaching class to really help people that don't know how to cook know easy ways to put food together that's already, you know, in their pantry, learn how to go to the store and shop, and then, you know, create recipes that are healthy, but not necessarily just we're going to create salads and eat broccoli sprouts. You know, it's just like it's going to make food taste like comfort food, and really kind of tweak things to make food healthier and make it easy to cook, so that you don't have to rely on a restaurant, because right now, you know, we are forced to stay home and cook pretty much because we can't go to a restaurant and order out. So a lot of people, you know, live their life of you know, eating out because it's more convenient, it's easier, and a lot of people that I find that even patients, they don't know how to cook, and so they just eat canned beanies and weenies and go to McDonald's and stuff, and it's just, you know, their body's not going to heal properly if they don't give the right nutrients to, you know, to give the body the fuel it needs. And then next, Aubrey is going to go over movement and exercise, but I wanted to first talk about kind of blood flow and the importance of blood flow, especially in the pelvic floor. And movement is just, the more we restrict the blood flow, which is our transportation system of bringing those nutrients that we take in and giving it to the cells, giving it to the organs and the parts of the body that need it. But if we're sitting too much and we're not moving, that pelvic floor is being compressed in one position for hours at a time, and we're not circulating that blood, which is which is bringing those nutrients, oxygen to our cells. So we're gonna start to have that pain response, which is not a bad thing. It's just a signal that something is unbalanced in our body. So the more we listen to our pain signal and say, hey, how can I take action to listen to my body and to bring it back into balance? And then once we kind of unkink the hose, then blood flow can move and we can get nutrients, oxygen, and so forth. But like they were saying, movement is key to health. So, you know, doing those tips of you know, standing desk, sitting desk, laying on the floor, and so forth is going to really help your body create that blood flow. And then the exercises that Aubrey is going to share with you. But I think based on my personal self is once I understand why I need to do something, it's easier for me to make that decision to do it or not do it, you know. But if I'm confused about it, it's kind of like, it's just easier to just not exercise. Well, I don't understand the benefit of exercise, or I don't, you know, understand the benefit of like going to sleep at a certain time because I like playing Candy Crush or whatever, you know, I'm stressed out. So once we understand and we're knowledgeable, I think we can make better choices about our health and be more empowered to do so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That's huge. And thank you, Michael. That's wonderful. You know, and I've done a lot of work within understanding the psychology of change. And, you know, one of the things that especially us at the Well, and you guys will get to meet Amber here in a second. She has been amazing. She's going to take us through some yoga postures and just a little movement to get the blood going. And, you know, hey, we've all been sitting on the computer, or maybe we've, you know, got it on the phone and have been doing things in the background or whatnot. But so if I can bring everybody's attention back for a second to participate in this and to try this. But so psychology of change, one of the biggest things like that we promote is that welcoming atmosphere. It is that environment of it's all right if you didn't do it last year. It doesn't matter. You can't change it. You can't change that, but you could say, hey, I've been thinking about this. And even though my brain, like Kelley was saying, it was giving me excuses or other reasons that didn't allow me to just be like, yes, I am 100% going to go and participate, and I'm going to do this and this and this and this change because that's out of my comfort zone. Okay, let's go do this over here instead, because that's more comfortable, right? So I think it's huge to like do all of these, just to at least explore and to try. And I mean, like everybody who has tuned in has expressed the interest of learning more. And that is one piece of change. And maybe, maybe this is just part of your lifestyle and you wanted to tune in and you wanted to be a part of it and you like what we talk about. And then maybe also you're thinking about like, okay, are there some things that I need to tweak in terms of my lifestyle? Maybe it is the way that I'm eating, like Michael was talking about. And I would further that conversation too and say that it can be, just to piggyback off of you, Michael, it can be nutritious and really bomb diggity delicious at the same time. And I know that I've looked through your spice sheet, and when you look at the spices that you put together, one, it's things that most people have in their houses. Two, they're yummy, and whenever you learn how to do things simply and spice them well, it's awesome. But so to come back to like that change and then moving our bodies, so it's like, hey, if you haven't done something over the past year, maybe ever, this is a great time to explore it, explore new hobbies, explore new interests. We've got a little bit more time on our hands. So Amber has been fantastic to work with. I don't recall how long that she has been a yoga instructor. I know that she instructs yoga instructors. She is a trainer. Okay. I knew that you'd been a trainer for 10 years. She was giving me she's been a trainer for 10 years. I didn't know that you were teaching yoga for 10 years as well. She did take, courses learning in India, and has just a fantastic personality to meet everybody where they're at. And help them to get to where they want to go in a good way and in a safe way, in a fun way. So without further ado, let's all do a little bit of yoga with Amber.
Yay. Thanks so much, everyone. Again, my name is Amber Marlowe. I'm a certified yoga teacher. I completed my teacher training in Rishikesh, India. I also have 3 certifications: health coaching, personal training, and group fitness. So I've been in and teaching yoga for 10 years in the industry. And we're going to start in our yoga practice today with just sitting up tall in our chair. Sitting up tall in the chair. Good. Bringing the chin up and then drawing it back with the ears right in between the shoulders. We're going to roll our shoulders back and down, back and down. Good. Let's just connect with our body. We'll start to bring awareness and attention to our breath. Inhaling through our nose, exhaling through our nose. Just going to notice the quality of the breath coming in and out. No judgment or expectation. Shoulders rolling up and back. Very nice. Good. 2 more. Yes, we're going to be moving and getting the blood flowing all around the body, but first just opening the body up, preparing our body for more movement. Let's inhale the arms up over the head, reach up just as tall as you can. You can bring your arms out wider if that feels more comfortable for your shoulders. Just lift the spine. Good. Bring the arms back down beside you. Bring your hands onto your knees. If you're seated with your knees straight, no problem. You're going to start to take little tiny circles just around in your chair. Little tiny circles. Tiny, tiny. Good. A few more in one direction. And then we'll take them in the other direction. Very nice. And back in the other direction. And then to the other direction. And we're going to come back to center and come up to a standing position. So come gently out of your chair. You'll only be able to see my legs, it looks like. Let me do some adjustments. Bring the arms up over the head and just reach up as tall as you can. Lift your toes right off the mat. Good. Bring the right arm down. We're just going to come over for a little side bend, gently drawing out with the left hip. Inhale, straighten the spine. Left arm comes down, gently come over for that standing moon pose. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side body. Very nice, looking beautiful. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the other side. Good. And bring the arms up. Reach up as tall as you can. Exhale, the hands down beside you. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to lift our right knee up and gently grab on. Just draw. If you feel a little imbalance, you can grab onto something with grab onto your chair or your table, and we're just going to rotate ankle on the right knee. Good. And gently place it down. We're going to switch sides, bring the other knee up. Draw the leg in. Good. Rotate the ankle. Hold on to anything if you need to. Very good. Rotate. Excellent. Bring it down. Roll the shoulders back and down. We're going to work on some more shoulder and arm movements. Bring the arms out, reach up. We're going to draw the elbows down towards the chest. Reach up. Exhale, elbows into the side pockets. Good, reach up. You can bring out hands out like a V as you draw the hands down. Reach up. And down. We're going to put the breath with that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Good. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. So if we've been sitting for a while, so we're going to add that movement since everyone has got it down good, and you're going to come into a little bit of a squatting position. So you're going to inhale with the arms up, exhale, squat down, draw the elbows in, reach up. Keep the knees behind the toes, drop it down, very nice. Inhale, exhale. And we're going to do two more. Reach up, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale up, bring the arms down by the side, bring the hands to the heart. And now we'll work into the toes a little bit more. So with the toes, you're going to spread the toes out wide, draw them down onto the mat, reach the toes out as wide as you can, and draw them down towards the mat. And we're going to lift the heels, and lift the heels. And here we can start to rotate the wrist and wiggle the fingers as we lift and lower the heels. Standing tall. Good. Two more. Good. And let's take a walk back over towards our chair. And have another seat. Bring the arms out wide. Bring the fingertips onto the shoulders, making tiny circles, drawing little tiny circles with the elbows. And then going in the opposite direction. And again in the opposite direction. Now we're going to make it bigger. So you're going to inhale, draw the elbows towards each other. Exhale, open. Draw the elbows towards. They don't have to touch. You're just moving in that direction. Good. One more time. Draw the elbows. And now we're going to reverse the direction. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Just two more, just like this. Drawing the elbows, opening, and then gently bringing the hands down onto the knees. Roll the shoulders back and down, and gently close your eyes. Again, coming back to the breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Let your breath become gentle and quiet. Now let's place the hands at the heart, thumbs gently pressed towards the chest. All the fingers connecting in the palms. And gently open your eyes. Namaste.
Okay.
Great job, yogis and yoginis.
Yogi. I like that.
Thank you very much, Amber.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I can see how that's so helpful, especially like up here. And we've just, like, you know, how we've been talking about, you know, if we're working at home or we're on the computer, and how often do we see everybody's like this? And it's like, oh, the muscles are tight and I need to release them. Oh, golly, if you do that a couple of times a day. And what did that take? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah. Did you notice that I yawned?
Yes, twice.
You know what I'm doing?
What are you doing?
Releasing emotions.
Yay. We'll take that.
That's awesome.
It's great.
Very, very
All right.
Awesome, thank you.
So, rubber meeting road. I wanted to tie everything together in the last little portion here, and talk about making a practical plan, structure around a routine of, okay, yes, I want to change some things. I want to incorporate more movement. I'd like to eat healthier. I'd like to feel less stressed. I'd like to be more consistent in my emotions. I would like to respond versus react to the world around me, right? I would like to choose my response. And I will also kind of piggyback more on that too, is I would like to choose my response in accordance to the direction that I would like to go, right? We all want happiness. We all want peace. We all want success. And we all have definitions for what those mean. So it's important to take some time to sit down, write it out. Like one of my biggest, to go back to what Sheila was talking in the beginning, like meditation, yes. Active meditation, one, I like movement. I love walking, love running, love anything, yeah, driving, great example. But a very good active meditation that I think gets pushed to the wayside a lot is journaling, writing, taking the time to actually like put pen to paper and say, what do I want? It sounds like very elementary whenever we talk about it, but like how much time do we actually spend doing these things? And I have seen such power in not only my own life, but like the lives of many of the clients over the past 6 years, of whenever they're sitting down and saying, I would like to accomplish this. Okay, therefore I write it out. And secondly, on that, it's really cool to like go back and look at it later and be like, oh my gosh. Like when we started earlier, I had a quote in my annual to-do list, if you will, and my annual goals list, things that I'd like to experience and accomplish and do this year, that kind of set my mindset for it. And I look back on it and I'm like, wow, that's spot on. I'm glad that I looked at it again. It's a good reminder, you know, and maybe you look back on it and it's like, that's not applicable, but more often than not, I've found and I've seen that it is. So taking the time to write down, okay, what are my objectives? What do I want to see? You know, what do I feel like? Do a check-in, do a total check-in. What is causing any type of disrest in me that I can put a finger on? You know, and if you can't, you've got resources that we've went through within this entire, you know, hour and a half or so of information that you can connect with us and have more conversations about it. Because that's a big thing too, is like, how do I get it out of my brain and onto paper? Okay, well, I'm having a little bit of trouble with that. Well, I could have a conversation with somebody about it, you know, somebody else's perspective, somebody else's background and profession, and particularly because this is what we do for work. You know, we think about this stuff all day long, and we're all very, very integrated in what we do, right? We all, each of us, Sheila, Lisa, Kelley, Michael, like Amber. I have the Brady Bunch picture on my computer right now, so like I can see everything.
Yeah.
Patrick. Not everybody's videos are on. But so we all really believe in what we do, right? And we've applied it to our own lives. We've seen that. And so we love to help other people with it. So I account us as good resources. And we know, you know, we're competent. Not only do we believe, yes, we have passion, great. We could have passion about running out into the street and not looking both ways, and that wouldn't be as intelligent. So, you know, let's put the brain to it as well. But yeah, so sit down. Okay, what is, and I will be sharing this out in an email after, as part of my portion of what I'm sharing within the email afterwards, is a goals worksheet of just like, and it doesn't have to be goals. Like sometimes that can cause like a mental block of like, oh, this goal, I'm going to put this on paper. And like some people get energized by that and some people get deterred by that, right? So maybe it's not goal, maybe it's cause, maybe it's project, maybe it's task at hand, or task still kind of falls underneath goals. Maybe it's
Items.
just some, go ahead.
Items, you can say items. So it
Items.
doesn't seem like a task or it has to be done right away. It can be done more relaxed.
I got a better word, desire. Desire.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Yes.
What are your desires?
Yeah. What would you like to see in all the areas? So like, you know, me coming from my background and what we do, fitness, yes. Career, okay, yes, very important as well. Life, you know, but also thinking like mentally, physically, spiritually, you know, like how do I want to feel on all of these levels? And then from there, that kind of draws out also, okay, well, what kind of habits do I need to develop in order to feel that way? You know, and Sheila had mentioned a couple of times earlier, you know, it takes 21 days. I think it's a give or take for many people.
Some people can be fast, some people can be quick, but really notice it.
Yeah, but regardless, it takes at least some amount of time. Maybe it's 5 seconds, maybe it's a year to integrate a habit to where you're really in like a momentous flow state with it. You feel good about it. You feel comfortable. You kind of start developing that like excitement, you know. Gosh, you know, to go back to Michael's conversation, I started exploring creating healthy dishes. I want to say in like 2010, 2011. I had gotten into fitness like 3 years before that. And then I started integrating other parts of my life. And I mean, my cooking today this is 10 years later. This is 11 years later. You know, so one, it wasn't an overnight thing. And I kept learning and I kept getting more excited about it. And, you know, like, oh, what could I make with that? Or what can I make with that? And some days it's like, we're ordering pizza. You know, that it's balance between all of that.
Patrick was like, yeah.
Right. It's creating that excitement around like, okay, you know, what paths would I like to embark upon? Is it moving my body more? Like with Kelley, you know, do you have pain right now that's holding you back? You know, I specifically was dealing with the hip flexor pain and I didn't run for 2 weeks and it made me very grumpy, you know, and so I had to slow down and back up and, you know, work on that first, you know, find where your fork is to start to move that wheel forward. So I get this visual in my brain of like, think that there's a wheel, right? And it's turning in this direction and maybe you don't really like, or maybe it's a sphere. It's turning in this direction and you're not like really excited about that direction that it's going. Well, how do you stop it? You don't necessarily just want to like get in front of it because it's got momentum and it might just barrel you over. But like, if I think of like this big fork coming down and sticking into it, finding a place of where you'd want to start from to start to move it different direction. So I'll share those resources afterwards. I do want to open it up for Q&A. If anybody, you know, tuning in has questions, thoughts, anything that they want to throw out there for discussion, I really want to open that up.
Your journaling was a great idea. I did a journaling when I was going through a very challenging time. And I did a timestamp, like the date, the time, and I got very specific to the point where I could visualize my day in my writing. Like I walked in this morning, nobody said good morning to me, and I was feeling some kind of way. I talked about how I felt. Nobody said good morning to me. And no lie, I thought I was the nicest person in the world. And I kept journaling, and then I realized in my journal that I never said good morning to them. I was expecting them to say good morning to me.
Interesting.
And I was like, no, oh my God, I never asked them how they were doing. And I didn't see that through my daily life. Like you living, you just get into an emotion. And then when I started to write and write the reactions when I walked in, like I became so observant of my own self that it helped me see that the reaction I was wanting, I wasn't getting because I wasn't giving it. You know? And so I think during this, you know, whole COVID-19, to me, this is a blessing because I had never done self-observation so much on myself. I'm funny, like, and I'm feeling a certain way and come find out that I have a misunderstanding in my own spirit because what I'm projecting, I thought I was projecting, I really wasn't projecting. I want you to love me, and I'm a kind person. I'm like, well, dang, I need to give it a little more. I need to show that kindness a little bit more. I need to show that gratitude a little bit more, appreciation. So I think, journaling to me is extremely powerful to tap into emotions that you can project to other people, like blame other people for your feelings, and come find out that you are the sole vessel that has more of the issue of not being emotionally intelligent. So people laugh at me. I talk to them. I said, emotional intelligence is a skill, and especially in COVID-19. We go out, we can express ourselves, make jokes. Like I was making a lot of COVID-19 jokes on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, girl, those TikToks, I was dying yesterday.
I'm a TikTok addict, okay? I'm a TikTok addict over here. I was posting a lot of funny stuff, and some of it can be like right on the edge, right? And again, like I said, I journal a lot. So, and I saw someone post, like in my community, post and says, 9 people died that I know died of COVID-19, and people think it's funny. I was like, whoo, let me just write that in the journal. Here, go write it in the journal. Because, you react one way, and then they're feeling another, and then you have to find this compromise of gentleness, gentleness of your own spirit, or gentleness of that person's predicament, So definitely, I think journaling is powerful. Journaling is awareness, and it helps build emotional intelligence of your own vibration, your own energy, like what you're presenting out to the world. And so I did it when I was in a very challenging management position at a bank. I was in a high-level position. It was like a war zone. And the only way I got through it was self-observation through my journaling and writing. So yeah, that was a very good one to say that. So
yeah,
I highly recommend journaling.
It goes back to like what we were talking about, almost like at the beginning, where, you're observing what's going on in here and what's going on out there. How am I reacting to what's going on out there? How am I reacting to how am I responding out there to what's going on in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes you shift a little bit. I mean, I'm going to still have COVID-19 jokes, but I'm definitely going to be a little bit more considerate of what ones I post. Mm-hmm. Definitely, because some of them are a little can be on the edge.
Well, they are, and it's fear, and fear is one of the biggest emotions I think that everybody's having right now.
The uncertainty too, so crazy.
It's uncertainty, but if you look at fear like an acronym, fear it can mean false evidence appearing real.
There you go. That's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what people are doing right now, and it's interesting because I was on another interview, podcast, whatever, and they were asking me about, what were my emotions right now, and my emotions were a little different from everybody else's. It's like Sheila's talking about. My emotions were, I was excited and about expansion and transcendence, and they're all going, what about fear? What about anxiety? Well, I'm not feeling that right now. So you're kind of sticking your head in the sand. No, I choose to not fear right now. Okay? And it's all about the law of attraction. The more I fear, the more I attract. Okay? So am I going to look at the solution, or am I going to look at the problem?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the solution.
Yeah, this is the best time to focus on what is solid.
Well, it's the best time, I think, to focus on who you are. And if you can't answer that, and I couldn't, I'm not on any level that people are not. I'm not saying I'm above anyone. Please don't get that wrong. But 3 years ago, I couldn't answer who is Lisa. I didn't know who she was until I got in touch with her, and I found her again. And that's kind of what the Sedona method is about a little bit, is finding the inner child and hugging that inner child and letting that inner child know everything is going to be okay. It's rediscovering and re-tapping into that. And you know, don't get me started on Bruce Lipton. I love him because he says, you know, around 7 years old, we stop living in the conscious mind and we start living in a subconscious mind.
That's when your thymus stops as well. Your thymus,
And
heart,
something else was
that's
mentioned.
your inner child. It
That
kind of
age,
stops.
7 years old. Yeah. Because guess what? And I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word. We're brainwashed. We're brainwashed with everybody else's belief systems. So at age 7, going on age 8, I'm now incorporating my parents' belief systems
Versus my own thoughts.
versus my own thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, we need to be a parent, but we still need to not stifle the inner child. And I think that's what I was doing. And I found her again, and I was overjoyed to meet her again and to allow her to start dreaming again.
I actually was in an astrology meeting yesterday. I was in an astrology class, and we talked about this energies of 2020, and that inner child is going to be highly important to finding your authentic self in this rapidly changing world. Everything is going to be changing for the next the next 3 to 7 years. A lot of things, all of us is going to be changing really, really rapidly due to these unprecedented times, and it's going to be really calling on you to find your true self. Like you can't go with the masses, and some people are going to go with the masses, but it's going to try really make you stand on your own about how you're going to make money. Are you going to go and get a corporate job? Or are you going to quit corporate job and go be self-employed? Are you going to be innovative enough to kind of start making money differently? And it's going to be a real test for 2020 for a lot of us. And I think journaling will help a lot of people. And these Zoom chats, these Zoom rooms will help a lot of people start to not fear themselves and not fear that what they think is right for them and be scared of it. Because a lot of us is not being ourselves because we fear rejection. We feel abandonment.
Failure.
Failure. Because sometimes your idea is going to be so extreme or so innovative that it makes you stand alone.
Well, and that's when you're hopefully empowered to. And somebody said the other day, she said, I love that the way that you just come out with it and you don't say that and you're not following the masses. You're being authentic and saying what you think. And I said, well, yeah, it kind of gets me in trouble sometimes when I say what I think. But one of the most powerful exercises I ever did was through Sedona method was the question, are you tired of punishing yourself? And that blew my mind. And yeah, am I looking at this COVID-19 as an opportunity?
This is an opportunity.
It is.
To be the best you could ever be.
It's an amazing opportunity to, and I've already had 3 new offers to do trainings online now, corporate trainings on sleep. This is because of what's happening right now that I was offered that. So I'm opening myself, my belief system, to allow these new opportunities. And I'm not going to be afraid to say no.
Yeah, don't say no. Now that these opportunities are coming, and some of them are going to be a little different from most of us. To me, this is not the time to say no, but to kind of be bolder and more secure in your being that you can do it, even when you think you can't do it, to find a way that it still resonate with you when you make the leap.
That's
the extension of yourself when you make the leap. This is not me. Oh my God. Say yes, and then still try to use the extension of yourself when you present whatever it is that is.
Yeah, because a lot of these are podcasts, and one was on Adobe Connect. I know nothing about that, and it was a cluster mess of trying to get on that.
Yeah, Adobe is not user friendly.
And then you had to call in, and it dropped the call. I had to call back in. It was just a comedy of errors, and I'm sitting there what normally would have freaked Lisa out a year ago or 2 years ago, I was trying not to laugh. It was hilarious.
It would have freaked her out a year ago.
It would have freaked me out. But I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, can you hear me now? And I started laughing because I'm like, I feel like I'm in a commercial. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so much fun. And yet nothing was going right at that point. But do you know, they love the call, and I've gotten another opportunity since then. And it's like, wow. Okay. I'm excited for what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, and sleep has been very important. I don't know if you've watched a lot of news, but I've been watching a lot of news, of course.
Nope.
I like to meditate and see. I like to read, and I like to watch news, and then I go meditate on it. So I don't
have to meditate after it.
Yeah, well, I have to, but it helps me see what the world is saying a little bit. So for you, the sleeping, they did an article about dreams and stuff, saying that the COVID-19 was people having like nightmares and stuff.
Yeah,
and it seems like sleep is pretty important right now for the COVID-19.
It's important anyway, and we're not doing it before this happened. So now it's even worse than it was.
Yeah. I thought it was a very interesting article they did on the news. It was really good.
If you come back across that article, share it with me, because I've had lots of sleep disturbance in terms of dreams and stuff.
Okay, because they're having some strong nightmares. People are having like strong nightmares, sometimes COVID-19 related. Yeah, I have to go, and I think it's a news article. I think I can find the video. It's actually a video, not an article. It's actually a video.
I mean, I covered that in my sleep consultation as well.
Yeah. So yeah, sleep is really starting to be really important right now.
Yeah. Always has been, but even more so.
Oh yeah. I'm correct.
Yeah.
It's a good time to recalibrate all of our health.
It's a great time to recalibrate. Yes, ma'am. Love that.
It's going to be an interesting time, even though we are going through such a massive transformation. It's still going to be so beautiful for a lot of us. A lot of us are going to just not fear ourselves anymore, and hopefully,
it's a time
rise to the occasion.
Time for transformation.
Yeah.
And it's
We're being forced to slow down and face it.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's about doing too. I want to make sure I'm clear about that, because I should talk to another person. It's not always about doing for a lot of us. A lot of us is sometimes just being still is perfect for right now. Sometimes the best thing is to do is be still. And I will be taking some downtime myself, because sometimes it's good to just kind of go within and then come back, recharge out whatever new statement or new transformation that comes your way during your downtime. So napcations is the way to go. Anybody who know me know what I mean by napcation.
Love the napcation. Yeah.
And that's been a lot for me. I've been getting that message for myself to take a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
Y'all, this has been awesome.
Been really good.
Mm-hmm.
What a great leading edge conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know,